Hi, we're Team 2, Martin, Jenny, Nora, Vilde, and Johanna. We have prepared a presentation of around 18 to 20 minutes and would like to use the remaining time at the end for feedback and discussion. So, looking back at 2020, there are several points defining the status in Norway. Firstly, and most noticeable, Norway's imported 70% of all the fruits and veggies according to the Byspire. Other defining points were that production volume and economic gain was interlinked. Norwegian farmers were often stuck in a bystander perspective. So big companies ruled the market. There were a distance between consumer and product. The conventional farming used heavy machines, therefore leading to poor soil quality. And repurposing important soil areas for housing was normal. And lastly, that pesticides damaged the ecosystem. These points were not in line with the UN's goals for sustainability. These sustainability goals laid the foundation for this project. A lot of the goals and sub-goals were applicable to the project, but to be specific, these ones influenced some of the main solutions the most. First, to protect and safeguard natural heritage. Second, ensuring sustainable management and efficient use of the natural resources. Third, increasing use of resource efficiency. And fourth, of course, maintaining the ecosystems. As you can see, there were a huge gap between the situation of 2020 and the desired future of the UN. So, a commission was established to combat the challenges. Due to this situation, the government created the Commission of Food and Fiber Production back in 2021, and their goal was to find a way to maximize provisioning services in the farming and forestry sector, while also providing ecological functionality in production zones. The commissioned project was to build interventions and create a change by 2040. This became a pilot project set in Heim because it was a freshly established municipality after a municipal merge. Heim was in the process of creating a new strategy for the future of Heim. While reorganizing themselves, they were really open to innovation and said yes to being a part of the project. Heim has always had a great variation in its landscape: mountains for grazing, rivers for hydropower, as well as forest, agriculture, and fjords. In order to fully understand the situation back in 2021, the Commission talked to a range of experts and did in-depth research. This helped them to give an understanding of the underlying issues in 2021. They mapped out both the agriculture and the forest farming systems and regulations, in addition to going more detail like how to preserve the nutrition in the soil. The experts consulted were among others a former farmer, forest worker, Ola Dalen at the Norwegian Forest Company, and Anders Kopstad, the leader in regenerative agriculture. These conversations were essential for further development of the project, getting insight into the methods, needs, and guidelines, building up their knowledge about the structures in different areas. Anders actually said something that stuck with them. What we are conscious of, we can do something about, but what we are unconscious of does something to us. The Commission made it a mission to know as much about the topic as they could and to make as an impactful change as possible. One of the stakeholders in Heim were Malin Sæther, the municipal planner, accompanied by people from the agricultural office, forestry sector, and the business sector. They expressed a desire for a new identity and connection across ages and cultures in Heim. The Commission got to look into the plant strategy of the time, which gave them lots of insights. And with all this research and information in mind, we can now go look deeper into the underlying issues. As you can see, there were many. However, the overriding themes were big company monopolies, lack of knowledge, and lack of will. To pick a few examples, it's worth mentioning that outfield pastures weren't utilized to their full potential, and farmers were generally stuck in a bystander perspective, characterized by traditions, xenophobia, and not taking responsibility for their actions. Those were vital insights the Commission set out to change, and in 2025, interventions were set in motion. The points of change were a systematic and structural change. That means a change in a narrative can be managed by offering young adults the education they need to think holistically, involve them in local communities, and redefine social structures, despite the challenges of influencing bureaucracy. The second would be a mindset change, an engaging educational option towards a proactive, regenerative, and holistic cultural change. Third, a local change. creating a social arena for information exchange between disciplines. These interventions led us to where we are today. So if we take a look at Heim municipality now in 2040, we can see that they have a great collaboration in community and involving of the locals and tourists with an open source knowledge. They have smaller distance between production and consumer. And they have also started a regenerative shift, better support for the farmer, and with the circular use of the resources, they have improved soil quality and increased biodiversity. So let's take a look at the solutions the Commission of Food and Fiber Production did come up with during this time to actually get where we are today.
In 2020, the Norwegian degree of self-sufficiency in food was just below 50%. We were completely dependent on international trade. When the COVID-19 pandemic occurred, this dependency made us vulnerable due to lack of international labor and transportation. The Norwegian government became aware of the need for an increase in food security, considering future conflicts, pandemics, climate changes, and environmental disasters. Feeding the population while being less dependent on foreign imports required a major upheaval and efforts as a nation, in addition to redefining social roles and structures. In 2020, agriculture was seen as an industry rather than a national responsibility. The farmer's mindset was characterized by a lack of comprehensive systems and holistic understanding. They were stuck in a bystander perspective and did not acknowledge the responsibility for further development within the field. This resulted in the establishment of the Norwegian Defence of Natural Resources. The NDNR is an alternative conscription service to the Norwegian Defence, aiming to implement new social structures to assist the local communities with affordable labour and a cross-scale cooperation. Those applying to the Norwegian Defence can choose either to join Norwegian Defence or the Norwegian Defence of Natural Resources. The Norwegian Defence of Natural Resources was established to introduce and connect young adults to nature, its ecosystems, and the food and fiber provisioning services. The Norwegian Defence of Natural Resources consists of 7 troops, which are stationed in relevant municipalities to contribute to the local community and agricultural industry. When the privates have completed their conscription service with the NDNR, they hopefully possess knowledge and an understanding of ecosystems, regenerative land use, and the community's provisioning services. The goal is to ensure that the young adults have a solid foundation of knowledge on the subjects, which enables them to pursue a career in this field. Statistically speaking, most people will spend their lives in cities, distanced from the provisioning services they rely on. If we are going to create a secure food system and increase self-sufficiency, it's important to understand where our food comes from and create the best environment possible for our food production to thrive. The forest watchers collect data about ecological factors in order to determine strategies needed to help forests thrive while simultaneously meeting landowners' needs as an ecologically conscious developer. The serving privates assist landowners in their pursuit to manage forests in a regenerative manner, enabling the highest imaginable vitality within ecosystems. The horticultural battalion works like a potato within the Norwegian agricultural community. They assist owners of smaller farms with seasonal planting and harvesting operations. Privates can aid farmers in developing a holistic framework for managing their farms. In addition, they can also serve as gardening apprentices at greenhouses, hydroponic and aquaponic facilities. The Shepherd Commando's focus is to regenerate nature with the use of the Norwegian animal stock, while mapping and studying the natural world and its capabilities of regeneration. The serving privates assist the professional shepherd in his daily work and invite local tourism to join for further connection with our providing nature. The analytic communicators analyze data delivered from the other battalions, maintain feedback loops within the municipality, and communicate open source information to the world. The serving privates get a crash course in communication and assist analyzing scientists at the municipality headquarters Heimhallen. The Food Processing Battalion's task is to facilitate for local food processing as well as enriching the culture with traditional delicacies and healthy food. They tour the local food production systems and learn from them while helping local developers, experts, and new startup businesses. The Fiber Processing Battalion learns traditional craft from local craftsmen, develop plant-based fiber for packaging at the headquarters, and look for further use of human waste to secure fiber circulation within the municipality. The distributors' camaraderie help enforce that the goods travel the shortest route possible within the county municipality. Privates will map potential markets and connect farmers and processors with them. All men and women are welcome to serve in the Norwegian Defense of Natural Resources. The recruits are enrolled in various courses, including the framework for holistic management and an introduction in the planning process. They are also taught the 4 basic ecological principles: water cycle, mineral cycle, energy flow, and species interaction, in addition to soil health and how to analyze it.
The Horticultural Battalion is trained in regenerative agriculture and fundamental ecological principles. They aren't experts like the shepherd, but know everything you need in order to conduct farming in a holistic and sustainable manner. The Horticultural Battalion can help farmers who wish to shift to a regenerative farming. Arne is one of those farmers. His farm mainly supplies sheep. Prior to working with the NDNR and the Horticultural Battalion, his way of farming caused a loss of soil quality, inefficient land use, and dependency on big companies and state subsidies. The NDNR's presence in Heim has made the transition to regenerative farming much easier. Arne can attend courses and learn the principles of regeneration for himself, as well as getting a helping hand from the Horticultural Battalion. It doesn't cost him much either. The agreement benefits everyone. In exchange for the private labor, Arne provides places of training at his farm for the NDNR. Tit for tat. Once he has completed a year of collaboration with them, he is given certain benefits, including green points and a green farm certification. Green points are a hint to Group 4's point system, and it gives discounts in Heim-based marketplace in addition to various other perks. Arne is already housing 5 new privates from the Horticultural Battalion in his remodeled barn, despite only working with the NDNR for 3 years. For an entire year, Arne and the privates will work together towards the shared goal of making Arne's farm more regenerative and resilient. When the shepherd's commander arrived in Heim, it allowed Arne not to spend every penny and resource on his sheep. The sheep could graze on outfield pasture, leaving Arne with the possibility of repurposing the land previously kept for infield pasture. Fields upon fields of new possibilities. In this story, we also meet Line. Line found herself in a completely new situation. In just 5 months, she went from being a stressed-out student in urban Oslo to spending her October days as a private in the Horticultural Battalion in Heim. She is hopeful that a year in the NDNR will give her an advantage when she studies biology next fall. If she gets in, that is. The 2 bonus points she gets from her conscription service in Heim won't hurt her chances. Line is no expert, but with Arne's guidance, mentors from the NDNR and her fellow privates, she is going into a regenerative mindset and discovering her green fingers. Line's troop has received detailed climate readings from the analytic communicators in Heim base about the upcoming season. By the looks of it, the season is going to be heavily affected by rapid changes in temperature and intense periods of rain near the end. At this point in time, Arne's soil is not regenerative nor resilient. Generations of monocultures, overuse of chemical fertilizers, and a hefty use of brutal machinery at the farm have left their mark on the soil. The soil is porous, at risk of erosion, and with little to no sign of microorganisms that are important for good soil quality. Today, Line and the rest of the NDNR are well on their way to restore the soil health and quality at Arne's farm. Hemp and a mixture of plants have been cultivated for the past 2 years in order to nurture the soil.
The Shepherd 2040, one of the world's oldest professions. Their job was usually to follow animals and keep them under control around the clock. This was especially important in times with a lot of predators. Shepherds would prevent animals from getting stuck in bogs and guard them against, among other things, troublesome insects. The Shepherd 2040 is a reimagined, multidisciplinary version of the old Shepherder. The Shepherd offers its service to farmers who wish to keep their livestock on outfield pasture. This would improve animal welfare as well as supplying both animals and ecosystems with healthy nutrition. Tasks include mapping ecosystems, cooperating with local nature managers, offering advice within areas of expertise, and working towards increasing biodiversity. Robots aid the shepherd in its role to map areas, analyze and transfer sample data to the headquarters. There was a good opportunity to increase outfield pasture in Heim, as the landscape to a large extent consisted of unutilized mountain pasture, well suited for grazing animals like sheep. In 2020, the cultural landscapes were outgrowing due to a decrease of outfield pasture. The cultural landscapes in Norway depends on grazing animals to keep the soil fertile and to maintain biodiversity. Most farmers in Heim were engaged in livestock and dairy production, spending a vast amount of time and resources on cultivating and importing food to feed livestock. Nowadays, as farmers can keep their livestock on outfield pasture, they are able to rearrange spendings and use of the cultivable area. The shepherd collects samples, studies species, and works to establish an understanding of where pasture ecosystems are in the succession phase. The shepherd also functions as a guide for tourists. Grazing on outfield pasture prevents the landscape from overgrowing and provides better conditions for flowers and insects, contributing to biodiversity and pollinating. Studies show that optimal grazing can stimulate carbon storage in soil to such an extent that it compensates for the natural emissions from grazing animals. Grazing can in that way be a possible climate measure. An important job for the shepherd is to take care of the grazing animals and guide them to the best suited pasture, consider its succession phase and need for animal fertilizer. Spot is a robot that navigates terrain with mobility, allowing the shepherd to automate tasks and data capture. These data are sent to Heimhallen.
And now over to Heimhallen, that was established in 2037. Heimhallen is the headquarters of the NDNR and a center for social, cultural, and future regenerative and holistic research. It's a shared and open space for the NDNR, the people in Heim municipality, and tourists. The headquarters acts as a hub connecting all kinds of people and aims to be a place for innovation and inspiration. The municipality itself offered the factory as a restaurant or indoor market concept, hinting at a desire for change. The remodeled factory goes beyond the restaurant and indoor market concepts, facilitating for inclusive community to boost the social and cultural life and preventing depopulation. The headquarters is located in Kyrksæterøa in the unused old dairy factory, which has now been remodeled to fill its new purpose. It accommodates courses, events, and activities related to holistic management and sustainable food and fiber production. Utilizing waste heat from industries, Heimhallen can be powered through a circular energy supply. The government initiated the establishment of Heimhallen as a part of the NDNR's infrastructure due to the municipality landowners' lack of knowledge and education on holistic management and regenerative agriculture. The NDNR headquarters operates as an open resource data provider to enable information flow to all sectors of the national industry within the NDNR and to the community. A safe and flourishing community is a necessity for regenerative agriculture and holistic management of natural resources. Heimhallen wants to provide the community with opportunities to cultivate its culture and provide it with the space to connect to each other and to nature. The hall can aid in instilling trust, which provides a good foundation for communication and collaboration. Heimhallen was a pilot project for the NDNR to see if it can be incorporated in all relevant municipalities of Norway. Heimhallen is a place where a lot of different activities goes on. And I'm now going to take you through some of them. The analytic department. This is where the analytic communicators are stationed, the place where data is being processed and where strategic planning for Heim takes place, always in favor of nature. The information is gathered from the troops and the shepherd out on the fields. All data is communicated open for everyone on a public board in the social space. The Delta Center collaborates with the Norwegian Statistics Central, gathering continuous statistics of their nature and animal information. They are also sharing the information with the district's new mini-hubs. There's also some open spaces for the community in Heim. Events for the locals often take place in the Heim Hall, educating people on topics relating to holistic land management and food and fiber production, also providing courses within processing and handcraft. This is 72-year-old Gunnhild, who is eagerly participating in the handcraft course in wool, which is held once a week. She often hangs out with her friends in the cafeteria other days. Heimhallen also has a marketplace, and the marketplace is maintained by the NDNR. It was established to increase local distribution of food and gather the community for a common interest, food. Everyone is invited to the marketplace and local producers can connect with their customers. We also have the lab, where the horticultural battalion experiment with hydroponic farming as well as using excess fish and algae to power aquaponic farming. They also use compost and waste to cultivate food in a circular manner. Lastly, Heimhallen hold a lot of courses. Comprehensive courses and workshops for privates, landowners and farmers in regenerative agriculture and holistic management.